my pleasure to introduce tonight's next two speakers, Tanya Moodie and Sophie Walker. Tanya was born in Canada but lives in Britain now, and we claim her as ours, not least because she has multiple Olivier Award nominations for her roles in Intimate Apparel at the Park and The House That Will Not Stand at the Tricycle, and we always claim hot and brilliant people as our own. You will most recently have seen her in Sherlock as Watson's therapist, where she did not sadly ask the question, tell me about those I am kissing Sherlock's hot, beautiful mouth dreams that you've been having. A line I would surely have written her were I in charge of that show. She's joined by Sophie Walker, who, as the glorious leader of the Women's Equality Party, is probably technically the most feminist woman in Britain right now, and is therefore someone I bow down to as she fights for our rights to be safe, fights for our rights to be equal, and fights for our rights to be party. There. I misquoted the Beastie Boys. I must now kill myself. They will be discussing representation and why it's important to have people who look like you in power. For, as the old feminist saying goes, I cannot be what I cannot see. Ladies and the solitary gentlemen that we have down in the front row, Tanya Moodie and Sophie Walker.
Wow. Amazing.
Fabulous.
I'm hugging you all.
Shall we have a chat?
Yes, let's have a chat.
Okay. I have a clipboard here, and it looks very formal, but it's really just so that the people over there can't see my underwear.
Yeah. We were worried about sort of knickers being sort of, visible here.
Small,
Sorry.
Low chairs, tall women,
yes.
really bad combination. So we've had a few chats over dinner about how enraging it is when the people making decisions don't look and sound like you. And we've managed to have quite a laugh in the process, haven't we?
Yeah.
And one of the things that really struck me very early on when we first met and started to get to know each other is the lightness with which you describe some of the experiences that you've had that would have driven others, I think, to distraction.
I don't like to carry a lot of,
So I was having a think about the questions to ask you tonight.
Oh, good to know.
Okay.
Good to know.
Sandy, tell me if the...
No, you're fine, honey. I'll be on liquor alone.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Is that a bit better? Yeah? I'll project as if I'm in the theatre.
Okay.
Without a mic. Better. Marvellous.
So I thought that in order that some of my questions tonight would sound fabulous, I would start by asking you about some of the bad questions you've had. And you've had some doozies, haven't you?
Okay. Well, one that I can think of offhand, which kind of took me by surprise, was on the red carpet at the Evening Standard Awards. And you enter the red carpet and you stand there and you get your picture taken and you smile, and then there's people asking you questions about your work. And there was a reporter who came up and he put a mic in my face and he said, so, you do a lot of things that are gritty. When are you going to do something else that's really gritty? And I was a bit taken aback by the term gritty. That's all. I mean, I'm sure to him it was probably very innocuous, gritty. But I was quite taken aback because I was thinking, is that me? Do I actually do gritty work? And I wanted to say something really clever and funny to him, but I was actually quite taken aback, and I just said, oh, do I? And he said, yes, you always do things that are gritty. And I couldn't for the life of me, because I was so taken aback, I couldn't really answer the question. I think I kind of just drifted away, because, I mean, if I could only get seen, because when I think of grit, I don't know when you guys hear the word grit, what do you think of? I think of, like, those dramas on TV with drugs, guns, yeah? That kind of thing. I can't get seen for those. I would love to, but no. Yeah.
So what had you been doing lately that
well, at the time, I was doing Constance and King John at the Globe. Speaking in iambic pentameter.
Yeah, so gritty, right?
Yeah.
So that makes me think of one of the first things you said to me when we met, and I was trying to persuade you to be interested in this thing that you were doing.
Yes.
And you said to me, I spent a long time too busy being black to be a feminist.
Yep. I'm black. Yeah.
So, and I thought that was, we laughed and you talked about it, and I wondered whether you'd like to just explain a little bit about what that process was for you.
Well, I think what I meant was my experience really was that, in terms of my interface with society, that it was the first port of call when any time I came up against anyone maybe limiting what my potential was, it was always to do with my colour. So my gender was always a secondary, maybe tertiary consideration. And by the way, by no means is this any sort of like, oh, feel sorry for me, I'm black. I love being black. I love it. I wake up in the morning, I look in the mirror, and I'm like, fabulous. I'm going to have a great day today. But it was just that. So what changed that was the fact that I was introduced to this concept of intersectionality in feminism. Do you guys, have you heard of that? Intersectionality? Yeah? Yeah. It's still a pretty new concept, really. And basically, it's just where different intersections of where we might be limited in our progress through life, they meet. I might be, say, a woman, that's my gender, right? I might be white, okay, I'm a white woman, but then also I might be maybe working class, I might be also disabled, I might be Muslim as well, or whatever, yeah? So we get these different intersections like that. And it made me realize that actually I can broaden my perspective and not just see myself as one thing, really embrace actually, I'm black, and I'm a woman, and this is my background, and this is who I am. And actually, I will become more effective in the dialogues that I enter in terms of equality if I also become more inclusive and not only see the intersections where I sit, but where other people sit as well. Yeah?
So, how did that feel when you got to that conclusion? Was it something else to be cross about?
Well, no, actually, in a sense, it was, I tell you what, I was at a dialogue. I tried to go to as many dialogues like this as possible about diversity, particularly diversity in the arts, in the sector in which I work. And I was talking very much about being, what it's like being a black actor and what we can do in terms of, diversity in that way. And another actor spoke who was disabled. And I remember thinking, God, actually, we are all together in this. And I just had to kind of broaden this kind of blinker that I'd put on about how it's not just me coming from my own perspective, but actually we are stronger together because equality is better for everyone, like it says up there.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so there's somebody with little cards with numbers on, and it's how much time we've got left. It's not.
Yeah.
They're not scoring us.
Okay. Yeah.
So my last question, because we have to keep these things very short.
Yeah.
Gloria Steinem.
Yes.
Gloria Steinem.
Yeah.
Said in a recent interview that she had learned about feminism disproportionately from black feminists. And I was very struck when I read that. One of the first things I had to do when I took on this job was to set aside any idea that an advance for one woman meant an advance for all women.
Yes.
And I wondered how you felt when you read that interview,
I heard
which
that,
was
yeah,
very
I heard
widely
it, yeah.
disseminated.
No, I heard it. I was really moved, actually, and I was really touched. And I think it's because Gloria Steinem made this statement around the same time I had a discussion with a very dear friend of mine, a feminist friend of mine, and we were bemoaning there had been a film award, and the shortlist was entirely male. And so she'd said, oh, again, there's no women on this shortlist. And I mentioned, yeah, no, actually, there's a complete dearth of any BAME nominees as well. And my friend said to me, sorry, let's just deal with gender first, okay? And then that stuff, that will come later, right? It's confusing, she says, yeah? To the greater struggle of gender equality. You are the small voices.
Nice.
I mean, I say this, so she's a very dear friend of mine, so I think it's like, but it's not the first time I've had that kind of dialogue, yeah? So, my immediate reaction is to kind of, take out the thorn, take away the hurt, and go, let's talk about this, Why can't we see us all as being part of this tapestry, yeah? So if we have these different intersections where we all meet, I sort of imagine it like a kind of beautiful tapestry, and we all have these intersections. If you pull one part of a tapestry, the whole thing moves, no? It's better, I feel, for 100 people to advance one step than for one person to advance 100 steps and leave everyone behind. Right?
I think I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah. It was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.